Hello, Gordon here from thegreatgordino.com, and today's Facebook Live I've called Feeling Intimidated. And right from the word go, when I say intimidated, I'm not talking about scared or threatened, about being bullied, that kind of intimidated. I'm talking about intimidated as feeling not good enough. And here's the story. It's something that came up in the last few days. A guitarist friend passed away, and I was at his funeral last week. And when he was ill, and as he passed away and at the funeral, there was message after message after message, a wave of people posting about how warm and friendly he was, as well as being a huge talent on the guitar, which he was. He was a heavy metal rock guitarist and superb at it. And as I saw all the posts and saw people at the funeral, this wave of feeling, it made me wish that I had got to know him better outside of the music, because I saw him at jam nights, but I didn't really see him outside of that, and I didn't know him as well as I might have done, and I felt sad about that. And then I asked myself, well, why hadn't I? And the reason I hadn't was because I had felt intimidated because of his guitaring skills. Now that might sound weird, but my drumming skills and my bass guitaring skills could be described as barely adequate or probably okay or close enough for rock and roll. In other words, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes there are mistakes in there. And at the jam nights, the music jam nights, you get to play with all different kinds of people. Some people are beginners, learning their instruments, but you could equally be playing with people who've been on the West End, who've been all over the world, playing with some of the biggest names in music and appearing on some massive hit records, and you could be playing on stage with them. And I would find that we'd be rolling along, grooving along on stage, and I'd be drumming along, and people at that level would look at me and sort of expect me to do something that was at their level, that was outside my level. Now, in a way, that's a good thing, because that's how you grow and that's how you learn to develop. But the other side of it is that you can feel intimidated. So I found myself being intimidated by musicians that were a lot better than me. And I've been discussing this in the last few days, and two people came up with thoughts that hit home with me a lot about feeling intimidated. First person said, well, if you're feeling intimidated because you think people are better by you, you're doing that. You're imposing that on yourself. They're not doing it. That's something that you've taken on to, you almost decided to be intimidated. And it's a good point, actually. It made me think about it. And along those lines, what I've found in life, that other musicians who try to intimidate people that are less skilled than them, they're big and they're brash and they're big-headed, and it's all, look at me, look at what I can do. I don't feel intimidated by people like that, either in music or in any other walk of life, because if they are better than me and they're shouting that they're better than me, well, my attitude is, great, you're better than me. What do you want? A lollipop? And if they're not better than me, but they're shouting that they are and they're better than everyone else, I just think, well, No, you're not. So I don't get intimidated by the big and the brash and the bold. I find that I get intimidated by the people who are warm and friendly and who have a lack of ego and are supportive, which seems counterintuitive. Why would I be intimidated by people like that? So it's very interesting. I was very struck when someone said, well, hang on, you've chosen to do that. You're putting that on yourself. Good point. The second good point that another friend said to me was that, hang on, if you're intimidated by other people and what they can do that you can't, why don't you flip it around and think about the skills that you've got that other people haven't got, and that they might be intimidated by you without you knowing it. Oh, that's a superb point. Because I consider myself to be supportive of anyone and would like to bring anyone along in whatever field. That's one of my core messages. So I would feel mortified if I found out that someone who had less skills than me in a certain area felt intimidated because I had more skills than they did. So that was another very good point. And in fact, this guitarist, Reese, that we lost, I have heard him play the drums once or twice. He did play the drums, and let's just say my rock drumming was a lot better than his. So for all I know, he could have been intimidated by my drumming skills as opposed to his. Fantastic point. So, how long have I been going? 7 minutes. If you feel intimidated by other people because you think that they've got better skills than you and that therefore you're not good enough, well, remember, if they have got better skills than you, at some point their skill level was the same as yours, because everyone goes through that learning curve. People who say that they don't are more likely than not lying. Yes, you get natural, these natural musicians and natural virtuosos, but they're the minority. Most people have gone through the learning curve and put in a lot and a lot and a lot of hard work and effort. So if you feel intimidated by other people, don't be afraid of it. Ask yourself why you're intimidated. Is it something that you just put on yourself? That they're not trying to intimidate you. In fact, quite the opposite. They're warm, supportive and encouraging, humble and without ego. And in that case, don't be intimidated. Take advantage of their support. Take advantage of their encouragement and go and ask them how to develop your skills. And then there's that other side of it. Think about the skills that you have that other people don't have. And consider that maybe people might be intimidated by you without you knowing it. And if that's the case, what could you do? Do you come across as a bit too intimidating? Do you come across as brash and cocky and look at me? And if that's the case, maybe you could turn that down a little bit and come across as a bit more open, as a bit more encouraging and as a bit more welcoming. So let me know what you think. There were two great responses that people had said to me after I'd said that I'd been intimidated or found myself feeling intimidated, and they hit home with me so well. That's why I thought that I would pass the message on, pay it forward, because I thought there was real value in those points. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with that? Heaven forbid that you would find that I'm intimidating in any area, and I'd like to know if people think so. But anyway, I'm going to sign off for now. I'm going to wrap it up. I hope all is well with you. Pop over and see me at the blog, thegreatgordino.com, because what I might be doing is putting more of my content there over at the blog and up on YouTube, because there are changes afoot within Facebook which might be changing the reach and engagement of people on Facebook. But I'll do another video about that. This one is about feeling intimidated and working your way out of it and around it. So, Gordon signing off for now. I hope all is well with you. I look forward to speaking to you again soon.